Hey everyone, welcome back to Wealthy Mentor Trading Sunday stream. Today is February the 21st, 2021. Today I'm going to be looking at SPX and where I see it going to the upside and to the downside and my targets. I'll be looking at earnings on a bunch of names, starting with Square, JMIA, NVDA, Overstrike, Moderna, DKNG, some airline stocks. I'll also be touching base on Tesla, ROKU, and Apple. But without getting started first, I would like to just direct you over to thewealthymentor.net. If you do want to trade with us and join our Discord group, we offer a great membership package. We provide you with watch lists every single day, along with swing trading watch lists. You don't have to be at your computer all the time. We have a larger target where you can enter and exit, daily commentary on options trading, along with market analysis. We also offer great services in terms of like economical data, breaking news. So definitely check that out if you are serious into day trading or swing trading. It's definitely beneficial. So be sure to check out thewealthymentor.net. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. We release these videos every single week, so don't miss out. Okay, with that being said, I do have the SPX chart here. And as you can see, we did close Friday's action just below key support, just above key support, which is at 3,900, 3,906 to be exact. We do have all-time highs at 3,950. To the upside, I'd like to see us over the 3,920 mark for my first initial confirmation. My second confirmation for a healthy market and a daily uptrend would be that 3,930 mark. If we do stay above that and consolidate above that, I do see a push to all-time highs at 3,950 and perhaps even 4,000 psychological. To the downside, if we cannot hold 3,900. As you can see here, 3,900 is strong support. It has held many times. We are on the 1-hour chart here. So 3,900 has held since the 8th of February. Below that, we do have support at 3,880 and 3,865. So those two areas are areas of interest for me if we cannot hold 3,900. Perhaps a good shorting opportunity would be below the 3,880 mark for potential push down to 3,865 and 3,850. To the upside, like I said, if we do break all-time highs, we do have overhead resistance at 3,980 and also 4,000 and 4,010 are bullish targets to the upside on SPX. Right now, I'm not too concerned. We are in an uptrend, currently consolidating at that $3,900 mark. The market looks really good. We do have a bunch of earnings this week. Also, keep in mind, we do have sector rotation. As you guys noticed last week, we did have money flowing out of the tech sector. I'm looking at the bank stocks this week, and it's one of those things that you got to look at to see where the market's heading. It really has the opportunity to sway the market, especially with earnings on major bank institutions such as BMO and other financial institutions that are reporting earnings this week. So keep in mind the financial sector going into next week. If we do well on earnings in the financial sector, definitely look at SPX to push to all-time highs. Okay. The first name I'm going to be looking at heading into next week that has earnings on Tuesday after the close and is currently at all-time highs is Square, ticker SQ. So here we are on SQ. I'm going to look at the 1-hour chart here. And as you guys can see here, we do have all-time highs at that 283 mark. We did get pushed back down here, rejected, right? We have been consolidating here, held to 74, tried to attempt all-time highs again at that 280 mark, got pushed back down. And here we are again on Friday, closing just below resistance. As they say, you know, the more times you hit resistance, the more likely it breaks and it gets weaker. You know, you'd want to break resistance on the first time, which is the best time. However, the more times you do hit it, it gets weaker, as you know, once, twice, 3 times, and potentially 4 times heading into Monday. So we do have earnings on Tuesday after the close. So earnings would be a perfect catalyst to push us above. If we do break that 280, 285 mark, I do see us hitting 290 as my upper target. Also, I'm going to draw another target here, which is psychological resistance at the $300 mark. A nice round number that stocks like to move into. So those are my targets to the upside if we do beat on earnings. Sometimes we do beat on earnings and it still might not do much. To the downside, I am looking at that 274 mark as support. If that breaks, that's my first confirmation, right? My second target is that 265 mark. We have held that for good support here. As you can see, there's some price action here. We got pushed down here. Buyer stepped in with a big candle here, and we were all back to test all-time highs before Friday's session closed just below it. So that 265 mark is an area of support for me. If we do break that, I'm looking at shorts down to 260, 255, and 250 for levels to the downside. That's if we do not do well on earnings. Keep in mind, guys, SQ is linked to Bitcoin. And at the moment, Bitcoin is setting all-time highs and it's close to 60K. So I definitely will be looking at SQ for an earnings beat. Whether that will bring the price higher, nobody knows that. But those are some areas to look at if you are looking to trade SQ for next week. Okay, so that is SQ on the 1 hour time frame. Another name that reporting earnings at Wednesday at open is JMIA, JMIA. This is dubbed the African Amazon. Really nice name here. We do have all-time highs at that $70 mark. Last earnings on JMIA didn't do so well. If I remember correctly, we did push down. Here we are again, way over that mark. I believe we were at $15, $10 around that last earnings, and we are nearing all-time highs at 70. We did close Friday session at that $56 mark. You know, if we do have an earnings beat, I could definitely see us pushing back to all-time highs at that $70 mark. If we do breach $70 and push above all-time highs, I have my first target at 75 and my second target at 80. So those are some areas to the upside that I'm looking at. We do have resistance at 70, as you can see here. We did push back down, and from then we've been downhill. So support 54 has held pretty well, held right here back on the 18th of February, and a few times here back in January on the 27th and on the 22nd of January. Okay, to the downside, if we cannot hold the $54 mark, I am looking at targets of 50 and 48, which was the breakout point before we hit all-time highs. This mark at 50 and 48 was strong resistance for almost about 2 years since their IPO. So look at that $54 mark as strong support, and the next strong support is the $58 to $48 mark. If that does break, I can see a waterfall down to 43 and 40, and it would make for some good shorting opportunities. Okay, so that is JMIA earnings on Wednesday at the open. Okay, keep in mind, guys, names like JMIA are part of our trading group. It's part of our swing trading watch list. So it's one of those names that we offer if you are swing trading. It also makes good for great day trading as well. It offers great volatility. So it's one of those names that we do have on our watch list at Wealthy Mentor Trading on Discord. Okay. The next name that is of importance is NVDA. So the semiconductor sector. SMH would be something that you should be looking at. So with that being said, NVDA is the ticker, right? Here we have NVIDIA. You know, NVIDIA was stuck into that channel, like I've mentioned in previous market streams, from 560 down to like 500. We finally broke out of that range, and we did create all-time highs at that 615 level. So we do have earnings on Wednesday at the close, and we are reaching all-time highs. We closed just below psychological resistance at $600 mark. Going into earnings and going into next week, I am looking at a break above the $600 mark for potential take profits at 610 and even at 615. Above 615, I am looking at targets of 620, 630, and 640 for my bullish targets. To the downside, if we do not do well on earnings, we do have strong support at that 578 mark, right? And we also have major support at that 565, 560 mark, which was the initial breakout. As you guys can see here, large volume coming in on that breakout, basically confirming that it was buyers pushing the price higher, and it was basically a real move and not a fake out. As you guys can see here, volume followed the next day and the day after, right? So definitely look to see if we do push down, if we can hold back that 565, 560 mark to the downside. And as I said, I am looking at that 600 mark to break for my initial push to the 610, 620 mark for take profit areas. So that is NVDA on the 1 hour time frame. So earnings are at Wednesday at close. Another name that's part of our swing trading watch list that does have earnings, it is Overstrike. OSTK is the ticker symbol. As you guys can see here, Overstrike, we do have all-time highs at 112. Let me just double check that on the higher time frames. Okay, I was wrong. 128 is all-time highs. As you guys can see here, since hitting all-time highs back in August 2020, we have pushed down as low as the $50 mark on Overstrike. Guys, this is one of those names that's highly volatile, and it did really well during the pandemic. People were shopping from home. Obviously, stores were closed. So it's one of those names that it did hit a lot of euphoria. As you guys can see here, it was basically at $2 in 2019. And, during the pandemic, we pushed basically, let's just see here. We pushed from $2, from $2 back in March 2020 all the way to $128. Anytime a stock pushes that high, that much, and that much of a percentage move, you're going to see a pullback, right? So here we are, obviously a year later, and we try to get back to all-time highs before being rejected at that 113 mark. Going into earnings, I am looking at a break above 103, 108, right? If we do break that 113 mark, I am looking at the all-time highs back at that 128 mark for a retest. So this is one of those tricky names, guys. So earnings can go either way. They could be a major beat, and yet we could still do nothing just because that the stock is way overextended. And, a lot of this is from euphoric buyers. I guess you can call it dumb money, right? So look at that 113 mark to break for potential take profits at 118 and 128 all-time highs. To the downside, like I said, we do have strong support at that $50 mark to $65 mark. As you can see here, we do have $72 as strong support. My first confirmation to the downside would be the break of $90 to $92. My second confirmation would be the $85 mark for a potential short 279 as my first target short, and my second target short would be the $72 mark. And if we do push down to $72, I'm definitely going to be looking at a bounce play at $72. We will be in oversold conditions, and we do have support, like I said, back on November here, once more here on the 16th of December. And as you guys can see here, multiple rejections on October 2020. So this $72 mark is strong support. So that is overstrike on the 1 hour time frame reporting at Wednesday at open. Okay. Another name that's on our daily watch list is BILI, BILI. Here is BILI at on the daily time frame. As you can see here, we do have all-time highs at that 157 mark. I am going to switch over here to the 1 hour time frame to break it down a little further for you guys. Okay, here we are on the 1 hour time frame. We did close Friday's session at that 146 mark. Going into Monday, I am looking basically at that 150 mark. Above 150 would be my first confirmation for potential scalps at that 154 and 160 all-time high mark. If we do beat on earnings, definitely look for 160 to break. If it does break, I am looking at targets of 165 and 170. I can draw another line here for a third take profit at that 175 mark if we are really bullish. As you can see on BILI, we do have this consolidation mark here. We had a big push up, right? Hitting 154, got pushed back down, holding 140 support here on the 5th of February. Once more here on the 10th, right? 140, pushing down as low as 135. So if I am looking at a missed earnings, I am definitely looking at my first confirmation for the break of 140. My second confirmation if 135 can't break, I'm definitely looking at shorts down to 130 in the 125 area, as we do have strong resistance up here, which is now support. That was basically back on January the 28th, 2021. So 135 breaks, right? First confirmation will be the 140. Second confirmation will be the 135. If 135 breaks, shorts down to 130, 125. After that, I would close my short position and definitely look for a bounce play. I also believe that the higher time frames will be oversold as well. So that is to the downside and to the upside. Conservative traders definitely look at the 160 mark before entry. That's just my personal preference. Okay. So that is BILI on the 1 hour time frame. They are reporting Wednesday at close. So we have JMIA, NVIDIA, Overstrike, BILI all reporting on Wednesday at open and close. So Wednesday is a big day for day traders, especially people that are part of our group, Wealthy Mentor Trading. We do have these names as part of our swing trading watch list and our daily watch list. And as you guys know, the guys that are in our group, you know, the daily watch list gets updated every single day, pre-market. So we do have those for you guys. Another name that's of significance is Moderna. As you guys know, Moderna is one of the names that's developing the vaccine or has developed the vaccine, and its ticker name is MRNA. Okay, this is Moderna. They are reporting at Thursday at open. As you guys can see here, we did have all-time highs at that 218 mark. Keep in mind, guys, this is one of those stocks that's highly driven based on vaccine news. So it's extremely volatile when it can be. As you can see here, you know, we pushed from 165 all the way to 218 in a matter of a few hours. So on an earnings beat, definitely look over that 190 mark, as we do have strong resistance back on the 8th of February over here as well on the 12th. So that 185 to 190 mark must break. If it does break, I am looking at take profits at 200, 205. And if we're really bullish, definitely look for a retest at 218. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity for Moderna to push higher. Obviously, if it doesn't do really well on earnings for whatever reason, they don't meet Wall Street expectations. Their earnings are just didn't do really well. Definitely look at that 170 as your first confirmation to the downside. Your second confirmation to the downside is that 164 mark. This is strong support. As you can see here, it was the breakout point at 163, 164. If 164 cannot hold, definitely look for the second confirmation. Sorry, the first confirmation would be 170. 164 would be the second confirmation. And if 160 can't hold, I am definitely looking at shorts at that 146, 147 mark. It did hold here for support back on February the 2nd, 2021. Nice percentage move, definitely, if 160 can't hold, for a potential take profit at that 147 mark. We also have support at 137.5. So that would be my second target to the downside. So that is Moderna, MRNA, and they are reporting Thursday at close. Again, one of the stock list swing trading watch list names that we provide at Wealthy Mentor Trading. Another name that's on our swing trading watch list is DKNG, and they are reporting earnings Friday at open. I'm going to head over here to DKNG. DKNG is the ticker symbol, DraftKings. All right, guys. Also, be sure to look for correlations with other, I guess you can call it gambling stocks. Penn is one of those other ones with PENN. It's another gaming stock. So if this does, succeed on earnings, definitely look for correlations with Penn for a move up there too. So you got to always keep in mind that, certain names are connected to other names, which essentially have the same, I guess you could say, the same benefit or the same structure. So DKNG is one of those bullish names. I am going to switch over here to the 1-day mark. So we do have $64, $65 as resistance and at all-time highs. Potentially here, we are at a double top. We hit basically 65, 62, 63 on October the 2020, right? And then we retested it here on February the 8th, 2021. So this is one of those double top scenarios, right? So that would be clue number one for a push down. Clue number two would be earnings. And if we do bomb on earnings, definitely look at support at that $55 mark. It was one of those strong areas of resistance that we did have a hard time breaking. Once here, right? Another time here, and a bunch of price action over here. Keep in mind, guys, this is the daily time frame, so these are large candles. So that $55 mark is an area of support for me. I guess you can draw 55 to 52 as one area altogether. So look for that to hold. If 52 cannot hold, I'm looking at potential shorts to the $50 mark and 46, where we do have support at that $46 and $43 mark left back here on January the 5th. Now to the upside, I definitely am looking above the $65 mark for entries. If 65 does break, I am looking at take profits. My first target of take profit would be the $70 mark. My second take profit bullish target would be the $75 mark. As you guys know, we do have all-time highs at 65, and these are targets that stocks like this tend to move in. They like to move into round numbers. So 70, 75 definitely makes sense. If we are really bullish, look for that $80 mark to be hit. I am going to draw a line right here just so we know. Okay, so those are my targets on DKNG. reporting Friday at the open. Okay. Now we do have earnings on two major names with regards to airline stocks. Again, we do have an airline stocks only watch list. It is a swing trading watch list. So guys, if you're really interested in that type of thing, if you're working 9 to 5 and don't have time to look at the charts, definitely set your alerts to these price targets that I'm going to be looking at. I also call these names out during our options trading daily trading. So if you are interested in stuff like that, definitely head over to the wealthymentor.net. Sign up for a month, 6 months. It's definitely beneficial to your trading. You also learn from the best, someone that has been doing it for such a long time and understands market psychology. So check us out. Airline stocks, RCL, Royal Caribbean. They are reporting on Monday at open. So it's one of those names that's going to set the tone for the whole airline sector. So RCL reporting earnings. Here we are on the daily time frame. Right off the bat, I am looking at that 85.50 mark to break. We couldn't break it here back on December. We're just going to try to attempt to break it here again. As you guys know, airline stocks are highly dependent on, borders opening up, the economy getting better. So definitely look for correlations to see what economic data is being released on Monday for stocks like this to push up, and also not to mention a lot of these airline stocks, Caribbean cruises, they're not making much money, as you guys know why. So if there is news on the border opening up, the trips, vacations, all being allowed, definitely look for stocks like this to beat earnings based on potential of where they can go, right? So 85 would be my first target. Take profit would be that $100 mark, 110 mark. As you guys can see here, we did have highs at the 109 mark, which was the breakdown candle during the not the recession, sorry. Well, it is a recession, but during the pandemic. Okay. To the downside, if we cannot hold a $70 mark, right, for whatever reason, airline stocks are not going to do well. The earnings are terrible, borders are closing again, and no traveling restrictions. Definitely look for $70 to break for potential take profits at that $57 mark. We did have support here back on September 2020. Once more here, dipping down and getting pushed back up. So that $57, $58 mark definitely is a level of significance for me. So my first confirmation, 70, target 57, second target 44, held here for support on June and August of 2020. So that is RCL. Also look for Norwegian, right, cruises. They also have earnings on Thursday. So again, same thing with RCL. If RCL beats, economic data is great, restrictions are being lifted slowly, look for all the other names, such as Norwegian, such as American Airlines, all those other ones that we discuss in our group to all push up higher. We did see some slight movement on Friday with some airline stocks in the green, 4 to 6%. So Monday is a big day, especially for the airline sector. And to close out this stream, I am going to be looking at Tesla just to see where we're at. TSLA, Tesla's always in the news. We did have all-time highs here at that $900 mark. I am going to switch to the 1-hour chart here. As you guys can see, we did have all-time highs at 900. We do have strong resistance at 880. Couldn't break that. Pushed back down. Held 840 for support for a while, and we have been creating the staircase pattern down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and potentially another leg down would take us down to the 770, 765 mark. We did wick down here back on the 17th of February before buyers stepped in. And now again, we are consolidating around that $800 mark to 780 mark. So these are two levels of interest for me to the upside. I am looking at a break above 800 for potential scalps at 850. If 815. If 815 does break, definitely look for take profits at that 830 mark. Personally, me, if I'm a conservative trader, definitely look for that 830 mark to break. That is more significant for me because 800 would be my first confirmation that Tesla's healthy. 815 would be my second confirmation. And just as a safe trader, 830 would be my second confirmation. That would allow me and help me understand that, you know what, this thing is strong, the bounce is underway, it's being bought up, and we're definitely going to be pushing above 830 for targets at 840, 850, and potential 860 to retest these areas that we pushed back down from. Now, if we do continue our staircase pattern down, definitely look for a break below 765 for shorting opportunities down to the 750, 740, and 730 mark. Okay, this is Tesla on the 4-hour time frame. Another name that I'm going to be looking at heading into next week. Another name that is pretty bullish and received multiple upgrades on Friday. However, as you guys know, if you're following along, market conditions weren't the greatest, so it didn't really benefit from all these upgrades. And the name that I'm talking about is ROKU. ROKU is the ticker symbol. You know, here we are, ROKU at all-time highs, nearing all-time highs at that 486 mark. You know, we did consolidate from all-time highs around 485, 486 down to the 460s, 460 mark before pushing as low as 440 on market weakness. We did hold 440, as you guys can see here. This was a big breakout candle here back on the 9th of February. So it makes sense that we did hold that big candle, the breakout candle. It was a big support right here. So as you guys can see from these long wicks, these are indication of buyers stepping in, right? Right here, big wick, retest of 464, getting rejected. Again, buyer stepping in, buyer stepping in. As you can see here, it's like a tug of war between the bulls and the bears. So we did receive a lot of analyst upgrades. I think there was 3 or 4 analyst upgrades, but due to market conditions, we couldn't get past that 464, 465 mark. In fact, we just landed right on it on Friday. Going into Monday, I am looking for a push above 480, looking for scalp trades, right? Take profit zones at that 484, 485 mark. 490 would be my second target, and my final bullish target would be the $500 mark on ROKU. To the downside, like I mentioned before, 450 down to 400, 440 is a no-fly zone. Do not trade within that area. If we cannot hold 440, I would be looking at shorts down to 430 and 420, as we do have some support here back on February the 3rd. So that is ROKU on the 4-hour time frame, and that's one name that I'll be looking at heading into next week to see if there is further movement, just because they did have some great upgrades from some major analysts. So if market conditions are great, definitely look for ROKU to retest those all-time highs. All right, guys, that's it for this Sunday stream. A lot going on next week. Square, JMIA, NVIDIA, Overstrike, BILI, Moderna, DKNG, airline stocks Monday. Tesla on a downtrend, ROKU on an uptrend. Keep all those names in mind. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. I'm consistently releasing snaps on what's happening throughout the day. Make sure you give our posts a thumbs up, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It can only increase and help your trading to become a more profitable trader. If you want help in our guidance, we do offer tutorials in terms of what's it called? Mentorship, right? One-on-one mentorship. DM me on Instagram. I'll provide you a breakdown of what you get. If you do want to join our Discord group, head over to thewealthymentor.net. Offer great packages. So that being said, good luck, and I wish everyone a great week. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.